Welcome back, horror enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the dark and twisted world of cults. These aren't your run-of-the-mill secret societies. No, these are the groups whose rituals are so disturbing, they'll haunt your nightmares. From mass suicides to apocalyptic prophecies, these rituals are the stuff of pure horror. Brace yourselves as we count down the top 10 most disturbing rituals performed by cults. Number 1. Jonestown Massacre Mass Suicide Ritual. At number 1, we have the Jonestown Massacre. Imagine a peaceful, utopian community deep in the jungles of Guyana, where followers believed they were building a paradise on Earth. Led by the charismatic and manipulative Jim Jones, the People's Temple promised salvation. But on November 18, 1978, paradise turned into a nightmare. Over 900 men, women, and children died in a mass suicide, drinking a cyanide-laced beverage on Jones's command. The chilling final recordings capture Jones urging his followers to embrace death as a revolutionary suicide.
It's nothing to death, it's just stepping over in another plane. Don't be this way.
The tragedy remains one of the most horrific examples of blind faith, gone terribly wrong. 2. Heaven's Gate, the final exit. Next up, Heaven's Gate. This UFO cult believed that salvation lay in escaping Earth and ascending to an extraterrestrial spacecraft trailing the Hale-Bopp comet. Under the leadership of Marshall Applewhite, 39 members meticulously planned their departure from this world. In 1997, dressed in identical black shirts and sweatpants with Nike sneakers, they ingested a lethal cocktail of phenobarbital and vodka and secured plastic bags over their heads. Each had a $5 bill and 3 quarters in their pockets, supposedly for interplanetary tolls. Their bodies were found laid out neatly, faces covered, ready for their interstellar journey. 3. The Anthill Kids, self-mutilation and torture. Prepare to be horrified by the Anthill Kids. Led by the sadistic Roche Thériault, this Canadian cult subjected its members to brutal and unimaginable tortures. Thériault, who proclaimed himself a messianic figure, performed surgeries without anesthesia, forced members to break their own legs, and even ordered castrations. Followers were convinced that these horrific acts were necessary for spiritual purity and submission. Thériault's reign of terror left a trail of physical and psychological scars, making this one of the most disturbing cults in history. 4. Aum Shinrikyo, sarin gas attacks. In the heart of Tokyo, Aum Shinrikyo orchestrated a terror attack that shocked the world. Led by Shoko Asahara, the cult combined elements of Buddhism, Christianity, and apocalyptic prophecy. Believing they could trigger the end of the world, they developed chemical weapons. On March 20th, 1995, cult members released sarin gas in the Tokyo subway, killing 13 and injuring over 1,000. The attack was part of their twisted vision of a new world order. The sheer scale and ruthlessness of this ritualized terrorism make it one of the most disturbing in modern history. 5. Order of the Solar Temple, ritualistic murders and suicides. The Order of the Solar Temple believed in the imminent return of Christ as a solar god king. Founded by Joseph de Montbreau and Luc Jouret, this international cult performed elaborate ceremonies filled with mysticism and esotericism. In the mid-1990s, over 70 members died in a series of mass suicides and murders across Switzerland, Canada, and France. The rituals often ended in the members' deaths by gunshot, suffocation, or poisoning, all orchestrated to help them ascend to a higher spiritual plane. The combination of ceremony and death makes their rituals especially chilling. 6. Branch Davidians, apocalyptic siege and fire. The Branch Davidians under David Koresh believed they were living in the end times. Their compound in Waco, Texas became a fortress of faith and fanaticism. In 1993, a 51-day siege by federal agents ended in a catastrophic fire, killing 76 members, including Koresh. The group had stockpiled weapons and lived under strict militaristic conditions, preparing for an apocalyptic showdown. The rituals of isolation, indoctrination, and eventual fiery end remain one of the most tragic and disturbing episodes in cult history. 7. The Manson family, helter-skelter murders. Charles Manson's followers, known as the Manson family, committed a series of brutal murders in 1969, including the infamous Tate LaBianca killings. Manson believed these acts would incite a race war he called Helter Skelter, named after a Beatles song. The rituals involved bizarre symbolic messages left at the crime scenes and Manson's manipulation of his followers' beliefs to justify the violence. The horrific nature of these murders and Manson's charismatic control over his followers cemented their place in infamy. 8. Children of God, sexual flirty fishing. The Children of God, now known as the Family International, practiced a disturbing ritual called flirty fishing. Under the leadership of David Berg, female members were encouraged to engage in sexual relationships with potential converts, using their sexuality to bring new members into the cult. This practice led to widespread abuse and psychological trauma, exploiting the members' bodies and minds under the guise of spreading their religious message. The manipulation and exploitation make this one of the most unsettling cult rituals. 9. Movement for the restoration of the 10 Commandments of God mass poisoning. In Uganda, the movement for the restoration of the 10 Commandments of God awaited the end of the world at the turn of the millennium, led by Credonia Murinde and Joseph Kibutere. The cult's failed prophecies led to internal strife. In March 2000, leaders orchestrated a mass poisoning and arson, killing over 700 followers. Members were locked in a church and set on fire, while others were poisoned in different locations. The sheer scale and horror of these deaths mark one of the deadliest cult rituals in history. 10. The Church of the Lamb of God, Blood Atonement. Rituals. Ervil LeBaron led the Church of the Lamb of God, a polygamist Mormon sect, believing in blood atonement. This doctrine claimed that certain sins required the sinner's blood to be spilled for forgiveness. LeBaron ordered the ritualistic murders of numerous individuals, including rival sect leaders and even family members. The justification of violence through religious doctrine and the resulting bloodshed make this cult's rituals particularly gruesome. These chilling accounts of cult rituals are a stark reminder of how easily belief can be twisted into something dark and deadly. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the macabre world of cults, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And remember, the world is a much stranger place than we often realize. Stay curious, stay cautious, and stay tuned for more spine-chilling stories. Until next time, stay scared.